Hello all, I am back with another BK2 I have purchased for myself. The last one I got I modified and gave to my brother, and that went well. He really liked that, and I decided I was going to get myself one too, so got it in the mail today, and I'll show you that, how that comes. So there you got your basic BK2 and the documentation that comes with it, which is basically just a catalog of the K-bar line of knives. You got your knife. So it looks exactly like the last one, as you can well imagine. Nice knife, just like the other one. Basically the same fit that the last one was. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. Nice knife, fits good, feels good in the hand. Sheath is same old Kydex sheath. Nice and snug, but not ideal for what I want to use it for. I'll probably wind up making another one of these, another sheath like I did last time, and I'll make some new scales, new handles for it. I had mentioned on a reply on previous knife that I'd probably make new scales for it, and I would try to record the way I make those. I'm not going to record every step, because doing that with the tripod in the wood shop would be, or my garage would be a little precarious and extremely time consuming, but I'll try to film each step of the way and kind of the basic steps that I use to make one, and show you how I do it. Same way that my brother's came, a little bit of oil on the inside, which isn't bad, kind of unexpected, but a little bit of oil in there. So there's your basic BK2 blade. So the next thing to talk about would be the selection of wood that you can use. Now, any hardwood would work, and there's other, artificial materials that you could use as well. I personally like using wood. It's what I'm comfortable with, and I like the looks of it, and it seems to work reasonably well. So I'll go over some of the different ones that I think could be beneficial as a knife handle. So we'll go over that. This is bloodwood. It is very, very nice wood. It's dense, fairly tight grain structure, and it is used a lot for knife handles and that sort of thing, pen blanks, various things like that, because it is so applicable for this. It's there's another gentleman on YouTube, I believe, that I've seen that made some handles for his knife similar to mine that made it out of bloodwood, which I thought was an excellent choice. I may wind up doing that someday, but it's probably not what I'm going to do this time. Another one is Cocobolo. It is a very dark, very hardwood. It's actually heavier than water, so it will sink. It's about 10% heavier than water, I think, on average. So it's one of the few woods that will, although there are more than you might think, different varieties that will sink in water. But Cocobolo is one of them. Ebony, I think, does, and so does ironwood. But this would also be a good choice. I like this wood. It's it's got some really good properties, very tight grain pattern. So anyway, that's not a good choice, Cocobolo. Another one is Padauk. It is, well, this side you can see very nice color, red, but it's also very porous. So I probably wouldn't pick this just because of its porosity, but it's still a very attractive wood, and if you're willing to deal with some of that and fill it in, I think it would still make a pretty good wood to use for this. The other thing on this is it darkens, so you can see on this side that it's got junk all over it, but it darkens to almost a walnut color, which is another reason you might not want to use it, just because if you want to keep this nice red color, some woods are a lot worse about changing color with regards to oxidizing than others. This one's kind of bad about that, but it is a real pretty wood. This is American Cherry. It is. This one's got a lot of figure in it because it was near an end, near a wood crotch. But it's a pretty wood. It takes a finish nicely, and it's it's not terribly expensive. Nice. I think that would be a nice choice. You've got Becote or Becote, however you say it, that I used from my last knife. It's got a very tight grain structure. It's also a nice choice for this kind of thing. It has a nice contrast with the black knife. So you've got black streaks in the wood, and you've got these yellow streaks. So it's kind of a nice look, I think. But I made the last knife out of this, so I try to do different things. So I won't be using it this time. This is American walnut. It is, you should all, well, most of you are probably familiar with that. It's used a lot for gun stocks and things like that. So that's another one you might want to try. This is Purple Heart. It's kind of a neat wood in that it's purple. It doesn't change color too much when it dries. If you want a purple knife, you can use this, and it's just kind of interesting because of the color, and it's also a good choice. It has some good properties to it. This is Brazilian Cherry. It is also a good choice. This is actually from a piece of wood flooring that's become somewhat popular for accents or whatever in wood floors. So this is just a cut off from that. Brazilian Cherry, it's very hard. It's about twice as hard as oak, if I remember the numbers right. And it's a nice choice for wood handles as well, I think. Let's see. This one is Honduran rosewood. Can't really see it very well here because it's got, I think, some wax in it or on it. But it's a very hard wood. I believe it's the other one I have here that's heavier than water, or about the same. So this would sink in water. Not that that's a critical point. It's just, I thought, a point of interest. But Brazilian rosewood is a pretty wood. That wouldn't be a bad choice. The last one that I have here, which is the one I'm going to wind up trying first, at least, I'll see how it does, is black palm wood. So this is, as the name implies, comes from a palm tree. And I've never tried to use this wood before. It's hard, I know that. It's not as hard as like ebony or whatever, but it's a hard wood, very dense. Has some interesting properties. It's not really like most wood in that it's from a palm tree, which is a little different than normal trees, but it should be interesting, and I'll give it a try. So if it doesn't work out with this, then I'll probably use one of the other ones I've shown you. I took it off on this side. So anyway, I'll cut some of this out on a table saw. You could use a bandsaw if you have one, or even a jigsaw, I suppose, if you had to. But what I'll do is I'll measure the thickness of these, because I know this is comfortable in my hand when it's on there, so I don't really need them to be substantially thicker than this. About the same size would be good. If you have bigger hands than I do, which I have pretty good size, pretty big hands, so you chances are the handle that comes with it is the handles that come with it. You model it after that, that'll be pretty close. But if you have smaller hands, you might want to make it a little bit smaller. If you have larger hands, then you might want to make it a little bit larger. The idea is you cut them out, and then you either put them back on the knife when you cut them out, and then kind of see how it feels, because you're really making this for, in most cases, yourself. And so really, as long as it feels good, and obviously it doesn't have any structural problems, then that's what you're going for. I'll probably build a blank 1/4 inch piece of wood to sit inside it, so I don't have to actually come back and put it on the knife. Just a piece of wood that follows the same pattern. I didn't do that last time, but I may do that this time, and I'll just do it out of plywood or something, because it won't be that critical. So anyway, here we go. I'll cut it and come back after I have made the measurements. I'll measure this, exactly how wide this is, and then get back with you.